Sure, the two titles actually have two different meanings to the person who holds those titles. If you came up into this position, if you came up through the ranks of the organization, then you earned the title of colonel. Superintendent is the political appointment. So the governor appoints the superintendent with the advice and consent of the legislature. My wife and her entire family were raised in Rutherford, having come before that from Jersey City when they were very young. So I actually met her. My wife is in federal law enforcement, and we met during my term on a federal task force 28 years ago. Well, the whole town is great. The people are great. The community is great. It's a community that's very peaceful, but there's a lot of goings on. The downtown area is very vibrant. There's a ton of restaurants and shops of all types that you can bide your time with, and has a great library, tremendous police department and fire department, which lends itself to some great public safety for the people of that town, and it's close to the city. So you really enjoy the benefits of being in a more suburban area. After all, it's called the Borough of Trees, which is one of the delights of the town, is that it's very, very green, and you're so close to the city. You really do enjoy the best of both worlds. Well, I went to the academy in 1978, late 1978. So it's been, I've been in, I guess, well over 35, 36 years, you know, at this point. It's been a love affair from beginning to end. In this particular job, you know, there's so many adventures that you can have, so many things that you can do that help people. And so many ways that you can grow and be educated personally as a result of your experiences. It's just been a tremendously rewarding job, and I've never regretted a day of it. Well, that was an experience. We had a reputation back then, and we sustained that reputation today of being one of the tougher police academies in the country. It's residential, which means you come in very, very early on a Monday morning for roll call, and then you don't leave till Friday evening or whenever the instructors want to let you go. Between those 2 days, you do an awful lot of physical exertion. You do an awful lot of academic training. It's a mixture, and they run scenarios all day related to what it's like to be a trooper or a police officer. So when you think sometimes you're going to bed at night, you're not. You end up getting woken up and you're outside running through another scenario. So it really is a 24-hour-a-day academy, and it's tough. It's an achievement to go through the academy, and the academy generally lasts about 6 months. Well, I became a law enforcement officer in some respects by chance. My initial dream was to be a pilot in the military, and actually tried to direct myself by going to college for aerospace engineering. Back in the early 70s, I think with the de-escalation of the Vietnam War, sort of the bottom fell out of the aerospace engineering market, particularly out west where I was going to school. So I came back, did some curriculum in mechanical engineering at Newark College of Engineering, which is what it was called at the time. Didn't find that nearly as exciting as I wanted it to be, and then ended up taking the state police entrance exam with several of my friends without any intention or expectation of ever being chosen on down the line to go to the academy. So it was, I'm probably one of those cases where I didn't know that that particular outcome was going to occur. But once I got into this job, I realized it was just the greatest decision and experience to have. As you know, and most people in New Jersey know, the state police has a very, very diversified mission statewide. Most people see that trooper in their rearview mirror. That certainly isn't the only thing the organization does, but it underscores one of our core missions, which is safety on the highways. However, we also patrol 89 municipalities. They're mostly rural, some are suburban, and we provide general police services, which means everything that a local police department does for those municipalities. In addition to that, we have a very robust detective or investigative branch with hundreds of detectives working a variety of criminal investigations, really from A to Z. We have troopers that patrol in the cities. We're in Trenton right now, we're working in Newark, and we're working in Camden. So when I say diversify, there isn't too many things in terms of public safety that the state police does not touch. Well, my responsibility is to keep the ship on course. I have a great set of deputy superintendents here, 5 altogether, lieutenant colonels, including my chief of staff, several dozen majors, and that pyramid keeps getting wider and wider as you go down through the ranks, captain and lieutenant, and into the 2 ranks of sergeant, with the trooper being the initial entry position. In addition to that, I'm also the emergency management director for the state of New Jersey, and in that capacity, I've covered well over 20 states of emergency since 2003 when I was appointed, to include the blizzard of 2010 and also Superstorm Sandy, which is all too recent in most people's memory in this state, especially down the shore. We have an Office of Community Affairs, which is located right down the hall from my office here. It's actually part of the Office of Community Affairs, also includes our Public Information Office. So Community Affairs is constantly going out and sitting down with all of our constituencies, which you can imagine is very, very diversified in the state of New Jersey. We attend a lot of functions. We invite an awful lot of people here to Division. We discuss things that they expect out of the state police, and we give them insight as to how the state police operates. So the key to it all, I think, is having a transparent, not just a professional police organization, of course, and a courteous one, but also having a transparent one, so everybody knows and understands and feels like a participant in this organization. We're the state police, but we belong to the state of New Jersey. It's always a challenge to diversify the classes, and that's not a challenge just for New Jersey State Police. It's a challenge for every single police department across the country, but we've really had, through some extraordinary recruiting efforts and a lot of outreach from the Office of Community Affairs, which we just spoke about, the constituencies that are taking the test include all the demographics and includes them in great numbers. And we're moving them through the process, which lasts about 6 or 7 months, and then through the 6 months of the academy. So we have had, at least the last 2 or 3 classes, greater success than I have ever seen in terms of diversity. And that's excellent for the organization because we have to represent the demographics of the state of New Jersey. I guess I cheat a little bit on that because I do have an assistant who's with me from Monday to Friday, whose job, which is very challenging, is to try and keep me on schedule. Since that's an awful lot of time just going back and forth from work that I have to spend in the car, we've outfitted that car as a bit of an office with internet capabilities and hands-free cell phones. So really my workday begins when I get into that car, and it doesn't end until I get out of it at the end of the day. Although arguably my wife would say it doesn't end 24 hours a day because sometimes the phone goes off in the wee hours of the morning. The people, the business people, just the way the whole town is laid out. I am more the suburban, urban individual, which sort of reflects my background, having been born in Elizabeth and spent a certain part of my childhood in Elizabeth. I sort of clamor for a little bit of background noise. My parents right now moved out to Pennsylvania after they retired. It's very, very quiet out there. Sometimes it drives me a little bit crazy when I go out to visit. So, but Rutherford is really the perfect mix because you get a sense that you're not as close to the metropolitan area as Rutherford in fact is. You get this sense that you have the advantages of being in an environment like that, but being in a very peaceful community that really has so much else to offer, as I pointed out, with good food, good library, good public safety services, good educational, good school system in the town, and when you put all those things together, that's really where you want to live. There's a few troopers that live in and around the area of Rutherford, and they've sort of made those decisions for the same reasons that my wife and I did. So we have a website, all right? It's www.njsp.org. That's my shameless endorsement here of our website. But anybody who's interested can go on that website. We're always letting people know when we're doing recruiting, when the tests are going to be, and even what the whole recruiting and selection cycle looks like en route to the academy. In addition to that, there's a complete description of the organization there, all the parts of the organization, all the missions of the organization, some of the people that preceded me as superintendents. There's all websites or links in there that you can navigate that will tell you a lot about the organization. And especially because we have a great museum here, which a lot of people don't realize, that features exhibits like the Lindbergh exhibit, which was one of the early famous cases that the New Jersey State Police worked on. So it's a building that reflects the tradition of the organization, and it's really a tour de force from the beginnings of the organization right up until the most recent events, such as Super Bowl and the work of the organization through Superstorm Sandy, some of the rescues and recoveries and work that we did there.